Good morning. It is Friday, July 2nd, 2021. Back here for Bed Talk 332. And obviously, today we're going to talk about blind spots. And in fact, we're going to talk today about what I believe is the biggest leadership blind spot. I put capital T, capital H, capital E, the big one. I think about this a lot. There's so much going on with blind spots. One of the funny things about him is so often someone will say, I'm very aware of my blind spots. Now, as soon as I hear that, my immediate response is, oops, giant blind spot. Why? Because I can become aware of a blind spot and then it's no longer a blind spot. But that assumes that I don't have any more. And I think a big part of leadership is continuing to assume that I have blind spots. And I'm going to talk in a few minutes about best ways to address them. But the biggest blind spot is the fact that we forget that the following statement is true. I don't know what I don't know. Let me say it again. I don't know what I don't know. As long as I remember that truth, I'll be aware that I have likely blind spots and I need to keep an eye out for them and look for clues that I have them and work to shift them and bring them out of the blind spot. However, if I forget that that is true, that I don't know what I don't know, because we know it's true, but if I forget that, then I've got a giant blind spot and I will have many of them. In fact, we were on a podcast interview yesterday and I asked the question, which I often do, with the gaps we see in leadership, what's the biggest challenge? And her answer was not surprising. She said, because too many leaders think they don't need help. They think they're already there. It's a false belief in our ability and our skills. We believe that we've arrived. And see, that's the thing. Leadership is not an arrival. We might get a position and say, now I've arrived in this position. But leadership is not the position. Leadership is the growth that I undergo every day, that I'm constantly scanning, whether you call it the growth mindset or continuous improvement. Leadership is about growth, continuing to better understand myself and expand my self awareness, and thereby minimize my blind spots. The other thing I need to do is I need to build enough trust and intentionally surround myself with people who will help me see my blind spots. By their nature, it almost requires an outside perspective, an outside person to help us see our blind spots. Now, if we are really committed to understanding them and really growing in our self awareness, we can catch a lot of them. We can look for clues when things don't work out the way we expect, when we see an unexpected reaction, when we look at a situation and say, I didn't see that coming. That's a blind spot. Not because we should be able to see everything that's coming, but the fact that we didn't tells us that we probably did something or didn't do something or did it in some way that had an unintended impact. And our unintended impact is typically coming from blind spots. So it's not so much that we don't care, but the question is, have we fallen into the trap of believing that we're better than we really are? Falling into the trap of thinking that we actually know what we don't know, to falling into the trap of the very false belief that I can know all of my blind spots. So if you find yourself saying, hey, I'm very aware of all my blind spots, warning, warning, that's a blind spot. And never assume that you know all you need to know and that you have fully evolved into every possible skill set or mindset as a leader. That is the moment that you, in fact, stop leading. That's it for today. Keep taking care of yourself and everyone around you. And by all means, stay connected.